Attention all viewers, the program you are about to watch, Paranormal Adventures, is for entertainment purposes. Witness accounts described herein are claimed to be true and accurate. Some names of people have been replaced to protect individual privacy. For the past decade, Jason Kenzie has documented paranormal experiences and events. People interested in exploration of the paranormal are advised to seek oversight by qualified individuals.
Like that. Then you want your thumbs on the outside of it.
Like that?
So
like that?
Yeah. So you're not going to be touching them.
Yeah.
You might just maybe bring them up a little bit with the thumbs on the outside. Okay, and then find the balance and bring them so they are straight and parallel to each other.
Okay, here we go. There's the balance.
And then just hold them there.
So these are called spirit rods?
Dowsing rods.
Dowsing rods. And how do they work?
So it's an old practice. It's been used for hundreds of years. It was used to find water and to dig wells, but it can also be used for spirit communication. How do you do it? You ask questions and ask the rods to cross to give you an answer.
Okay.
You can make them point in the direction of somebody.
So, are you pointing to him because he's talking? Are you the person that committed suicide?
With all this talk about spirits being able to control metal rods, well, this sounded far-fetched to me. Until the next thing I knew, the rods moved suddenly, catching me off guard.
Cross if you commit suicide. Cross if you're not friendly. It's interesting. That is very... Holy
That is the opposite of what you asked?
No, you don't understand. It's pressing against me.
Ever since I was a child, I was drawn to mystery and adventure. As I grew into a career of a filmmaker, I knew documentary my escapades was a must. When I'm not filming my animal adventures or searching for Sasquatch, I explore other projects that makes my heart skip a beat.
Is anyone here?
I invite you to join me as we explore the paranormal and other related unknowns.
We're going to a place in view that is extremely haunted.
Hallucinations refer to the experience of hearing, seeing, or smelling things that are not there. Often these can be as intense and as real as sensory perceptions. There are different types of hallucinations. Hearing voices speaking when there is no one there is known as auditory hallucination. In the paranormal world of researchers and ghost hunters, theory and experience will often direct their work. Paranormal entities are active throughout the day and night. Some research groups prefer daytime to study them. Other research groups document activity after midnight. 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is known as the witching hour, the perfect time to encounter otherworldly beings.
Well, this is going to be interesting. I just got off the phone with a lady who lives in Mission, BC. I'm heading over there right now to do a ghost investigation. She was renting the suite downstairs, and the guy who lived there just died a few days ago. And so the other day, family members were cleaning when all of a sudden, bang! One of the doors slammed shut, scared the hell out of them, and they ran back upstairs, and they don't want to go back down there. So hopefully I can catch something, an EVP, maybe a shadow person, maybe the guy that just passed away is still walking the halls. It's quite sad that he passed away. I mean, I don't wish that upon anyone. But let's see what happens. I'll see you guys there.
As I climbed the stairs to knock at the door, I didn't know what to expect. I had butterflies in my stomach. I always seem to get nervous right before I do an interview.
Hi, my name's Lori. I own this 8-bedroom house which has 2 separate suites in the basement. Last week we had a real big issue. I came to find out that my tenant was having problems. His son had come out and talked to the tenants that live across the hall, and I was walking my dog and he was trying to get the ambulance in for one of my tenants named James. He passed out, the son didn't know what was going on. The tenant from across the hall helped out, tried to get this very large gentleman who is probably 350 pounds out of a chair, which was extremely difficult, onto the ground. We're talking a house or an apartment that was very unsanitary, huge amounts of stuff. Even finding a place on the floor was a very difficult task for the gentleman that came in to help. And so I was waiting along with the other tenant to get the paramedics in, and so of course I followed down. My tenant was on his back. They were looking at cardiac.
So did they pronounce him dead here or at the hospital?
Yeah, they tried for half an hour doing chest compressions. I guess they call in and a doctor takes control over the fact of when it's deemed that there's not enough oxygen to the brain to sustain life.
So tell me a little bit about this gentleman that passed away.
It was a very unique situation. He had his son and him there. The son wasn't on the agreement, but he brought him in. He was behind 6 months in rent. Wouldn't give me access to my own suite that I owned the house, and a lot of reasons for whatever, but they never really amounted to much. And then this happened, like just prior to that, I had gone in there, giving a 24-hour notice to take a look at, my suite within my house, and came out of there bewildered, seeing all the garbage and how unsanitary.
So he didn't want to pay rent for whatever reason.
I mean, other things were getting paid, but I wasn't. So I wasn't particularly happy. I mean, it's impacting my own family, right? And the state of the place, all the flooring was new. Everything was in top condition when he went in there. I did a favor. It was an acquaintance only. And it was putting myself as a widow in a situation of not being able to sustain the mortgage and whatnot here.
Do you think that his ghost might be downstairs still?
I do, because I could be wrong in this, but I have a spiritual background, so I'm thinking potentially he probably is still affixed to being there, so maybe he hasn't crossed over and maybe he's in limbo. So what had happened is the tenants across the hall, which I had no idea, had heard doors slamming from outside his apartment. It doesn't surprise me, but he probably had an attachment to his body. He probably doesn't know he's gone.
If we go down there tonight, do you think there could be a possibility that we might pick up something? Maybe an EVP, maybe a knock, maybe he'll slam a door?
He doesn't like me too much.
So how long has it been since he's passed on?
Just less than a week. We're still dealing with unsanitary conditions down there. We don't know if he became septic because he had injuries on his legs. We don't know the ins and the outs.
As sad as the story is and the fact that he passed away, I am very excited to go down there to see if I can pick up his spirit.
I never wanted this to happen.
Is there anything that you want to ask him when we get down there?
Be interesting if he knew what took him, whether it was a heart attack or whether it was infection, if he knew he was going to go. Maybe he wanted out, maybe things were just too difficult. Maybe that would bring some closure for his family. I mean, I come from a perspective of this is where we are here, how can we do best? And if we can make it a gentler parting, let bygones be bygones, and let's move on.
Exactly how are you feeling about this situation?
Mixed feelings. I mean, there is a monetary thing where my family is paying for it, so by the end of the day, it's going to be $15,000, $20,000 I'm in debt because of this gentleman. I feel very bad for his 2 sons, or 3 sons that he leaves.
He had a dog too.
He also had a dog that was not maintained, not taken out, very skinny. I had called the SPCA, a friend of mine called. We got it out as soon as possible.
Was his dog being abused?
I heard it yelp. I'm an animal lover, so that was really hard to hear. So we thought something was going on. That's why we got the animal control.
Maybe I can tell him that he's passed away and that he should, look at the light, whichever way the light is wanting him to go. So this is going to be quite interesting, and I want to say thank you so much for sitting down and telling me a story. Well, what are we waiting for? Come on, let's get down there.
Let's see if we can help him cross over.
Right now, I'm inside of the area where he was found deceased. Do you know where exactly he was? Was he here in this room? So he was right here. So this is where he died. I have a voice recorder, and I got this here. All right. There is a lot of poop all over the ground because they had a little dog and apparently was abusing the dog. So, James, my name is Jason, and I am a paranormal investigator / Bigfoot hunter / dancer / photographer / doing dishes, because used to do dishes for a living. Can you let me know if you're here? While I'm waiting to see if any EVPs come through my recorder, I couldn't help but think about the interview I had with the eyewitnesses that swear that they may have had a close encounter with the possible spirit of James.
Hello, my name's Keegan. I'm the guy that found James next door when he passed away.
And I'm Chris Mahoney. I rent next door, and I guess I've known James for the time that he has lived here. Kind of got to know him. And
so what exactly happened?
The other night, my roommate here, Keegan, and I were standing roughly where you are, and this was after we had partially cleaned up and got the majority of whatever out of the house. And we were kind of standing around, the two of us, reminiscing about the last couple of days that had played out.
What happened to him?
James had passed away in his house there. He had a massive heart attack, and it just
is an accumulation of health problems.
Yeah.
He had a few heart attacks over the years, and he also didn't really take care of himself very well.
Just got the best of him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, carry on.
So as being a neighbor to him, I like to keep a neat yard, and James had a habit of accumulating garbage. So after we cleaned the garbage out for the majority, Keegan had made a note. He goes, I might fucking hated the guy, but I didn't wish this on him.
Yeah.
And no sooner did he say that, something in that house fell. Loud enough that
all three of us looked over in there, because that door was kind of still open because we were airing the place out.
Yeah.
And like right as I said that, you heard something fell. All three of us just looked at each other.
So, do you think something fell or something got slammed?
No, we were the last ones in the house, and I can confirm that because the only entrances to that house, or to that suite, are from my suite or from where we were standing. And we took anything that could be taken for garbage upstairs. There was nothing left. Like, it was just kind of crazy.
So, do you think, first off, do you guys believe that there are ghosts?
I believe in energies.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you believe that maybe his ghost might be still in there?
I believe there's an energy in there.
Do you recognize the person I'm with? Do you know that you died? James, if you're here right now, can you knock on the wall? Maybe slam a door or one of the cupboards behind me? James, do you want to pay the rent? Because I know you owe money for the rent. James, if you're here, can you make something bang? Slam a door, one of the cupboards? Do you know that you died of a heart attack? Let's go into this room here. You scared me. I investigated for a little while longer, but without any activity going on, I had to leave and prepare myself to travel to another area to try and find evidence that ghosts are real. So I just made it to Kamloops and I'm about to meet Jason. He is the paranormal researcher out this way. We're gonna go to a really haunted location. I'm almost at his place now. I'm very ecstatic to meet him.
My name is Jason Hewlett. I'm a paranormal investigator and the co-founder of the Canadian Paranormal Society in British Columbia, Canada. I formed this group along with Peter Renn, who's a colleague of mine, who I met back in 2017 when he was president of the Vancouver Paranormal Society. He and I decided to form our own group in 2020 during the pandemic when we realized we couldn't travel to Vancouver and all of our work was being done up here in the interior. So we formed our own organization for ghost hunting.
Jason, tell me something interesting that happened to you while you were ghost hunting.
Well, I've been doing this, actually it's 20 years this year, so I've had several interesting stories. One of the first that I could say was frightening, and this isn't actually a frightening business given what you might think, but I was out at Treichel Sanitarium here in Kamloops, which is an old tuberculosis clinic and mental health facility that shut down during the 80s when they deinstitutionalized. And there's tons of stories. As soon as Treichel closed, it became this hub for urban legends, reported stories of hauntings, etc. And it was one of the first places that I investigated. I'd actually spent an evening out there myself. I brought along a psychic, an experiencer, a person to document our adventures, and then a skeptic. And we kind of had some interesting experiences. We were there during the day, because despite what movies will tell you, ghost activity can happen at any time. And we were about ready to wrap up when we decided to go down into the tunnel system, because beneath Treichel is an elaborate tunnel system connecting all the buildings. We were down in the tunnel system, we had explored, we came out in what was the laundry facility. We were deciding we'll go back to the car and call it a day. And we were deciding whether we wanted to go back above ground or back through the tunnels. And we decided to go back through the tunnels. So literally we'd gone through these doors. It was a set of double doors that would swing open easily. Turn around, reach out and grab the door that we had just come through. I pulled it, I got it about halfway open, and the door pulled shut on its own with enough force. I'm 6'1", back then I was about 195. I was pulled off my feet and I hit the door. Donna took off, and I'm not gonna lie, I ran right behind her. That's one of the only scary things that's ever happened to me in my 20 years of being a paranormal investigator. Today, I'm taking Jason to a house not actually far from where I live, out here in Brocklehurst. It's a newer home too, which is contrary to what most people think. Most people think paranormal activity happens in creepy old mansions, but it's not true. It can happen anywhere, in any house of any age. Jolene's lived there, I believe, for 5 years. She's had activity there the entire time. The activity traditionally manifests itself through electronics. She invited us to investigate about a year ago, myself and Olivier, who's going to be joining Jason and I tonight. The first time that we were there, sure enough, we got activity. She has 3 children. 2 of the girls stay in one room, the boy stays in another room. And in the girls' room when we were in there, they had a baby Yoda, like from the Mandalorian series. And it would actually move on its own. And it would respond to our questions. We'd ask it, to move its arms, and suddenly it would just start moving its arms and making its noises. We were investigating in another part of the house, and we heard a growl in response to one of our questions. We would have a REM pod, which is a motion detecting device, in a separate room go off. When we would go in there, the REM pod was turned over onto its side. We've been back twice since that first investigation. We would have various electrical phenomena going on. We would have all of our devices, freshly charged batteries, all be dead within about an hour or 2 of investigating. We picked up on the last visit a disembodied voice responding to a question that I asked, which was, is anybody here? And we picked up a hello, hello, hello.
Is anybody down here? Is anybody down here?
What was interesting about that, though, is myself and Jolene were in one room. Olivier, who initially heard the voice, was standing in the door frame, and he said he heard it coming from behind him. We couldn't pick it up. Neither her nor I heard it. My recorder didn't pick it up. But Olivier and then Peter, who was upstairs running some equipment, heard it as well, and we actually picked it up on those recording devices. So why it would turn up within feet of where I was but not being able to hear it, I don't know. So it's very interesting. We've also used dowsing rods at that location, and even conducted sort of a little mini seance and got in contact with potential spirits. But she's convinced there's 2 spirits. One downstairs that's a bit more ominous, one upstairs that's not as malevolent, maybe a little bit playful. And she can relay this better. Her kids wake up at night screaming, saying there's monsters in their room. She's been awoken. It's just a really active and interesting house, especially given how new it is. So I think it's going to be a pretty exciting evening.
Allegedly haunted house. Right?
Allegedly haunted house. We never say that they're haunted.
And we have this very long drive over to this what's her name again? Jolene. We're going to Jolene. She lives miles away. Miles. I don't know. It's going to take hours.
That's a goal. Hours to get there.
Hours.
Literal hours to get there.
Oh, we're here.
Right, just about.
Okay, I'm just kidding. She lives just around the corner.
Once again, a large group of men with equipment show up at your house, right?
Come in. Me and my iron being domestic.
Right?
No, I had to do that. Hi, I'm Jolene.
Jason.
Nice to meet you, Jason.
Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Hi.
Oh, come on. This is Nikki.
Hi, Nikki. Let me sit. How about... This is nice. This is kind of nice right here. Because you sit right there.
This is totally where I sat when we did an interview one time.
And action.
My name is Jolene Lindsay, and my family and I moved into this house probably about 7 years ago now. It's a lovely neighborhood, wonderful home. It's about 12 years old. But we've always had suspicious activity in here. So usually I would notice it around certain times of the year. So full moons would get a lot more activity at times, definitely during some of the celestial movements like Mercury retrograde and things like that. And why I say that is because a lot of it was electrical and water based. So I'm looking at my fridge right there. I don't know if you guys will notice, but there's no control panel on the fridge. I've paid a company to come here probably 3 different times, and it would, nobody could fix it. So it would just randomly start beeping in the middle of the night. My kids who were younger at the time, like babies, would wake up screaming, and everything would just kind of happen all at once. And it was just always an eerie feeling. So We rip the control panel off of it. There's no lights in the freezer or the fridge, and it just stays at the same temperature. It does its job, but that's it. So I remember Christmas, I think 2 years ago, opened the door up and all of a sudden the lights turned on. And they shouldn't because it's disconnected. Last week it started making ice and I can't make it stop. I didn't even know there was water hooked up to make ice. So now I'm dealing with this ice issue that I didn't even know it could make because it shouldn't be able to do that. Lots of other things in here. Mostly my kids notice it. Lots of times at night, even just the other night, my one daughter said, "Mom, I see ghosts." And I said, "Yeah, and what do they look like? What do they do?" And she says, "I see it right there in my closet." And they're often very afraid. That was the first time she was kind of brave about talking about it, but often they're quite afraid. It takes them a longer time to fall asleep. And it definitely, up here feels a little bit more playful because it'll do things like mess with our TV, our internet. I'm always on the phone with the internet company trying to get it rebooted. But then downstairs is a totally different feel. So it's a different kind of presence. It's a little bit more uncomfortable for sure. So my kids don't really play. We really don't use our basement all that much. But when we are down there, like my kids will request that the bedroom door gets opened and the light gets turned on. I said, well, why don't I just close the door? And nope, I want the light turned on. So it's just, there's this random bedroom down there that I always used to go down. I'd always leave it closed, but every time I'd go downstairs, it would be open. So I'd get super annoyed and I'd close it again and I'd close it again. And I'd ask my kids, and they're all young. I have 3 young kids, and I'm like, do you guys keep opening this door?
Do you ever hear like footsteps?
Not as much in this house. Occasionally, you know, we used to have, you would get suspicious sounds.
Okay, well, I think we should go and do some exploring.
I think we'll find stuff.
I'm gonna go downstairs and we're gonna set some equipment. I'm gonna take my jacket off because it's very hot in here. It's probably the ghosts trying to take over my body.
Par for the course in this house is that the electronics just never quite cooperates with you the way it's supposed to.
It's working. Okay,
There you go.
there we go.
GoPro's running, motion sensors are on, laser grid's on.
Come to this light right here. Show yourself. Speak. Does anyone have any audio in here?
Yeah, this audio's running.
Okay. So
Turn
come
on
to,
Baby Yoda.
come to this light.
Oh yeah. Turn on Baby Yoda.
I think you should be able to just touch him.
There you go, Grogu.
Star Wars, don't sue me.
Right.
So funny. My hairdresser just messaged me saying if there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you gonna call? I was like, I don't think you knew this was happening. It's so trippy.
It's us.
Until there is activity that comes alive, I would like to introduce you to the paranormal inventor of the team. I'm rolling.
I'm rolling as well.
Are you rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. And action. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So what's happening here?
My name's Olivier Asselin, and I'm a paranormal investigator.
So how long have you been doing paranormal work?
Just over a year and a bit. I've met with Jason at a public event, and they've invited me, and I've been going with them ever since. Well, these are little pods that I made to help us with our paranormal investigations. They basically detect vibration, and they're great to put on stairs so you can visually see if somebody goes up or down. So how they work is they pick up the vibration, they'll light up a light, and they are fairly sensitive. So if you put them on one step, then you'll see them light up.
Well, from where were you?
And that's a solid surface.
Yeah. So tell me your scariest happening in the paranormal world.
Well, scariest happening, I'd say a while ago, before my interest into the paranormal, we were house sitting for a family member, and in the middle of the night, my dog woke me up to go to the bathroom. So I got up and opened the back door for her, and through the kitchen, I could see in the living room an entity, a shadow figure standing right in the corner, and it must have been 7 or 8 foot tall. It was hunched over because it was too tall to fit the room.
Wow.
And it scared me so bad, I started screaming at it, I yelled, and then I heard my wife get up and heard her walk into the kitchen, flicked the light on, and then it was gone. As soon as the light came, it was gone, and I wasn't able to go back to bed. That scared me really badly.
Do you think that this paranormal entity was a basketball player?
It was certainly
7 feet tall.
It was certainly tall. It was very scary, and it wasn't human, just from the size and shape of it.
So have you ever seen it since?
I have not, but that definitely spiked an interest for me into the paranormal and made me go out and do my own research.
For the next hour, we waited to see if anything would happen. And without much activity going on, we decided to pull out the spirit box. If you are wondering what a spirit box is, well, here's Jason to explain it to you.
Important tools in our toolbox. This is a spirit box. It's an SB11. A spirit box is an AM/FM receiver. So it gets a lot of bad press in the paranormal community because you do pick up radio signals.
Yeah.
So how do you know, well, first, why would you pick up a spirit voice using these? No one's sure, other than the fact that we are made up of energy. When we die, that energy goes somewhere. So one of the prevailing theories is that energy then ends up within the Earth's electromagnetic field, and the spirits can kind of communicate that way by manipulating radio waves, basically. So what they do is they run through varying speeds, and it kind of makes a really irritating, like sound. So we ask very direct questions, hoping to get a direct response. And the way that you kind of can tell that it's actually maybe a spirit coming through is the stops, a voice comes through, and you pick that up. So you don't want to just do like yes and no questions. It would be like literally, say like I own this house. Who is the owner of this house? Jason. And that's kind of how you take those more than just some random gibberish coming.
My name is Jason Kenzie, and I've been invited to Kamloops, BC by the ghost hunting group Canadian Paranormal Society. We are investigating a possible haunting of a home, and after a couple hours of searching, we decide to try our luck with a spirit box.
What do you need me to tell her?
Nothing.
Scott, who do you want me to tell that you have found us?
Who? Home? This is not your home. Using the spirit box is interesting, but I'm not too sure if it really does let spirits use radio frequencies to talk to us. I do know that this isn't the first time I've used a spirit box. While on a Bigfoot expedition in Ohio, the Sasquatchers showed me how they use the spirit box. Okay, we have what is called a spirit box. We are going to see if we can attempt to get any of these spirits talking to us. We are at a cemetery in Ohio, of all the places, sitting on this bridge, and very excited to see if we get any responses. And exactly how does this work, the spirit box?
The spirit box is basically a radio that gets stuck on search or seek. So it just keeps running through radio stations very, very quickly. And you can set it on forward search or backward search. And I like the reverse. So it's not going to stay on a radio station long enough for any voices to come through from the radio station itself. It's just giving out white noise, background noise that the spirits can use to put their voices through. So what's really neat is when you're hearing the voice, you're actually hearing what they actually sounded like in life, which is really, really neat.
That is actually pretty cool.
Yes, it is. It's been really interesting for me to use the spirit box in paranormal investigations and helping psychic kids who were experiencing lost spirits in their rooms and in their closets, and bringing in a spirit box to help their parents and grandparents being able to hear the spirits that they were kind of afraid. They knew that they were there, and they were kind of afraid what kind of spirits were messing with their children. So bringing in a spirit box helps the family feel more comfortable about what's happening when they can hear a spirit say, "Help me."
I know that if I die and I come back with a spirit box, I will sound exactly like Mickey Mouse. Or Goofy. Probably Goofy.
Well, yeah, we can definitely turn this on.
Oh, how did he die? Did you die close to here? Can you tell me what your name is? What is your name? My name is Jason Kenzie, and this is Searching for Sasquatch. Too much information?
Does anybody want to talk to us?
He said no. Do you believe in Bigfoot? No.
Yeah. He said yeah.
Does Bigfoot come around this cemetery?
Interesting.
Interesting. Did you say interesting? When was the last time Bigfoot came here? And can you tell me the square root of 5?
What is your name?
What did he say? Do you know who the Sasquatches are?
Do you know who I am? Did you say Jason? Hello?
Hello.
If we come back later tonight, will you talk to us? Of course.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, you sound lovely.
Do you need help?
Nope.
Nope.
Is anybody stuck here that wants to be crossed over? Please.
My name is Jason.
Can you hear me? Yeah, we can hear you. What's your name?
Oh, wow. It just said Jason was the best. Okay, I'm just kidding. But it sounded good.
I heard. Is everything okay?
Everything okay? Yes, everything's okay. We're about to have some pizza. You want some pizza?
Did you just invite the ghosts to go back with us?
No. No, please don't come back with us.
Okay, so we're going to try dowsing rods.
Do you want to see how they're used first? I like to sit down so I can just make sure.
You can adjust them if you get good balance.
Okay, yeah, let me.
But I wasn't sure, right?
Okay, you're safe.
Okay, thanks.
I got you.
Should we turn some lights off? Or at least,
Nah, it's spooky enough in regular daylight here. To answer yes, I am going to ask you to cross the rods, please. To answer no, I would like you to spread them out. Is there a spirit that would like to communicate with us tonight here in this house? You can move away from the ice machine and come to the dowsing rods. Is there a spirit that would like to communicate with us tonight here in this house? Well, bullshit, there you are then. Right?
Spirit prefer
That-
ice.
okay, now move it back.
That's totally going in complete opposite directions.
This is gonna be your means of communication with us now, okay? It's the rods, it's not the ice machine, it's not the other devices in the house. It's the rods, and you're going to move them to tell us. I said not the ice machine.
Who wants the ice?
Oh, I wonder if it's taking from there.
Is it taken from there?
Are you taking the
Yeah.
energy from the ice?
I think so, because it's directly linked to a power source. Yeah.
Maybe you want some vodka with ice.
Okay. Good job. Bring it on back. Oh my God, if you guys can feel my heart right now. Is there somebody else that wants to tell us something here? You can't use my body, you have to use the rods. Thank you. If you could feel my heart right now. There we go, thank you.
Somebody else.
Yeah, okay.
What was the question?
Is there somebody else? Okay, good. So is this somebody that I know? You can bring them back to center if it's someone I know, and spread them totally apart if I don't know you.
Somebody you don't know.
Someone I don't know.
Are you friendly?
Cross them if you're friendly. Motherfucker. You better cross. It had said no, right? Ah, cross if you know somebody else here. Or point, actually point to the person that you know here if you followed them.
Do you want to keep doing this?
No, not if it's not friendly.
Not if it's
It's a
not
mistake to try to use you as a conduit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So put them down.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yes, they agree. Okay, find a different source. Because that's what it was doing. It was pulling from there. Like, if you guys could have felt my heart.
I was so fascinated by what just happened to Jolene that I wanted to give it a try for myself. If I had known what was about to happen, I wouldn't have even considered picking up these rods.
Usually a little bit less for me. Then you want your thumbs on the outside of it.
Like that?
So
like that?
Yeah. So you're not going to be touching them.
Yeah.
You might just maybe bring them up a little bit with the thumbs on the outside.
Okay.
Okay, and then find the balance and bring them so they are straight and parallel to each other.
Okay, here we go. There's the balance.
And then just hold them there.
So these are called spirit rods?
Dowsing.
Dowsing rods.
Dowsing rods. And how do they work?
So it's an old practice. It's been used for hundreds of years. It was used to find water and to dig wells, but it can also be used for spirit communication. How do you do it? You ask questions and ask the rods to cross to give you an answer.
Okay.
You can make them point in the direction of somebody.
So, are you pointing to him because he's talking? Are you the person that committed suicide? With all this talk about spirits being able to control metal rods, well, this sounded far-fetched to me. Until the next thing I knew, the rods moved suddenly, catching me off guard. Cross if you commit suicide. Cross if you're not friendly. Huh. That's interesting. That is very... Holy f***.
That was the opposite of what you asked?
No, you don't understand. It's pressing against me. Why are you not friendly?
Put that down, Jen.
It was pressing against me, like it was actually pressing. Jolene, I want to say thank you so much for having Jason and I to come into this beautiful home. It was weird, things that went on, and I hope that the spirits that are here are now gone and will not bother you anymore.
There was definitely something different this time, and that's why I wanted to do the saging just as a protective method, just in case. We don't usually do that, but it just felt like the right thing to do.
My time here is done. I have to get out of here. I have some other places to go and investigate. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Jolene's home was fascinating. Heck, Jolene was fascinating. I didn't want to end this investigation, but now I'm excited to tell you my next place I'm going to. I'm about to meet this guy by the name of Trevor. He lived in White Rock, and he's had some experiences with ghosts and spirits, and I'm very excited to hear his story.
Who's that, Sage? Come on. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Trevor.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Come on in. Hi, my name's Trevor St. Croix. I work for Fraser Health. I'm the mechanical supervisor at Surrey Memorial Hospital.
Tell me, Trevor, about your experiences that you've had with spirits or ghosts.
I'm definitely a skeptic when it comes to the paranormal. There was a ghost, I guess you could say, at our house in Brookswood. And we would often see shadows walking down the hall, like half apparitions, not full or anything, but you'd definitely know something was there. When my children were very small, we'd actually named the ghost George, and the kids would, every once in a while from the playroom, we'd hear, "Oh, hey George, okay, go away George, it's time for bed." And we'd never really thought a whole lot of it.
So your kids would be saying this?
My kids would be saying this. Talked to my wife, and my wife's parents told me that for years and years and years, they all knew that there was this guy around the neighborhood, and his name was George, who passed away, and he frequented the house quite often, actually.
And how did he pass away?
I don't know. Nobody seems to know that end of the story.
Really?
But he seems friendly enough and not, vicious or anything, and any bad vibes off him or anything like that.
How much do you believe in ghosts?
I'm not the believer in my house. My youngest daughter is a believer, and my wife is a strong believer. She watches all the ghost hunting shows. It just seems that things happen to me more often.
So how many times do you think you've actually had an experience that you've seen George?
Dozens of times. I've seen out of the corner of my eye, and then I debunk it as being too tired. And then I'll see him when I'm wide awake, and I'm like, I just can't explain it. I see him going down the stairs, up the stairs, and then we moved from Brookswood to Cloverdale, and he seemed to follow us there. And that was the first time I've kind of had a little physical contact. I don't know if it was George or what it was. But
oh yeah, she touched you.
It was more like somebody blew on the back of my neck. I was sitting, it was late, it was probably about midnight or so, just finishing up the news, and I felt this on the back of my neck. So I thought, oh yeah, here they go, they're getting me back. So I look, nothing there, go check on the kids, they're both sleeping. My wife, I'm like, hey, were you out in the living room? She's like, no, why? And I proceeded to tell her, and she laughed. She goes, oh, George is getting you back.
Well, you know what? This story is pretty cool. I want to say thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you very much for your time.
For having me come here. I always love hearing ghostly stories from eyewitnesses. I said my goodbyes and headed out.
Awesome. I wish you all the best on your hunt, that's for sure.
Thank you so much. The conversation with Trevor had me thinking, what would I do if I came face to face with a ghost? Would I run, or would I try and fight it? Ouch! Oh, that's my ear! Well, we may just find out. I'm headed to Merritt, BC to meet up once again with Jason and his paranormal group. We are going to investigate the Baillie House. Merritt is an interesting town. They have had their share of murders, suicides, floods, landslides, and devastating fires. This is going to be an intriguing investigation. While I'm waiting for Jason and the others, I'd like to introduce you to a person who knows this place extremely well.
Hi, my name's Sandy Kruse, C-U-R-N-O-W, and we're at the Baillie property in Merritt, BC. The house was built in 1913 for a mail-order bride from England, and she didn't show up. She never made it past Ontario. And so Mr. Bigney, who built the house, died a bachelor, and the Bailleys bought the house in 1938 and lived here till 1992, so that's why everybody calls it the Baillie House. And this store that we're in now was originally, they made iron brew and seltzer in the basement and sold it upstairs to the coal miners, and it was built in 1912. Mr. Baillie was a blacksmith and a wheelwright, and his shop was over where Subway is now in downtown Merritt.
So they say that this place is haunted. Do you know who might haunt it?
No one's ever, they think, all the psychics that have been here think that the spirits are attached to all the items that were donated to us, and so they come with the stuff.
Oh,
that's why there's so many different ones here.
How many have the psychics said that are here?
I don't know, I don't have a number, but everybody has different experiences. Lots of swearing, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how long have you worked here for?
Since 2006.
And do you like the job?
Yes.
Have you had any experiences?
The first one I heard was the office used to be over in the house, and I heard it sounded like footsteps, heavy footsteps walking up and down the hallway upstairs. And the first time it happened, I went upstairs, and there was no noise upstairs, no windows open, no doors open. And then it used to happen quite regularly when I was over there working in the office. And I've also heard the doorbell. The old doorbell used to, if you push it, it would just go ding dong, but if no one was there, it would play the Westminster chimes and go ding 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 dong. And I heard that. And I've heard like a whisper of steps going up the stairs to the upstairs when you go in the house. And also in 1950s, someone wrote a story about when they were a kid spending time in the house. There was a New Year's Eve celebration, and people were having a party downstairs, and then they put the kids to bed, and the kids woke up because they heard someone walking up and down the hallway, and they said they saw a man holding a dog, and so they went downstairs to tell their parents there was a man holding a dog upstairs, and the parents said, "Oh, that was Mr. Bigney." So, who's the guy that built the house? So that was interesting when we heard that story.
So where is most of the activity?
Most of it seems to be in the house. Mostly upstairs in the house, it seems like. But there was, people have heard all kinds of different noises. They've heard like a lady saying hi to them, all kinds of different things over there.
Finally, Jason and the team have arrived.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Buddy. Good to see you.
Jason, finally, nice to meet you.
Yeah, about time.
We don't waste any time and start looking around the property for any evidence of spirits.
My name is Pete Renn. I'm from Kamloops, BC. We're in the Baillie House in Merritt, British Columbia, and we are about to conduct a paranormal investigation. The history of the place is kind of a little bit, it's a little bit double jointed. There isn't a straight narration on the history, so we've managed to dissect a few names from the past and stuff like that, but in relation to our paranormal investigations. But in short, we started investigating here, my old team, probably about 6-7 years ago, and to start off with, it was very active, but then it kind of died its death, pardon the pun. I had a couple of years away, then came back with Jason, and since then, every time we come here, there's been new things that happen in different areas and new parts of the building as well, which is quite unusual. It's normally for us where you get those kind of hotspot areas is the areas that we concentrate on, but it just seems that one area kind of dies its death and another area all of a sudden becomes very active.
So I'm going to translate you to exactly what you just said. This place is haunted and old. Okay, let's go and do this.
You go downstairs into the boiler room where we picked up the EVPs and the silhouette in the past, and just sort of see what you can find. And while you're doing that, Ollie and Pete and I will go across the yard and into the basement beneath the office.
Okay.
See what we can find. We could say
Perfect.
Meet back in like a half hour, 45 minutes.
Am I using this?
I know, Pete's going to set you up with one that you can use. Actually, why don't you use this?
Okay.
So I'll show you how this works. It's really simple. Turn it on.
Is there anybody here with us right now? What do you think of Jason's
hat. This is Jason.
This Jason with the hat.
Well, I like that.
Sounds demonic. After being locked in by Olivier, I headed downstairs. I must be careful. I am prone to falling up the stairs. I'm downstairs in the boiler room, as you can see beside me. And hello? Is there anybody here with me? So if anything talks right now, I will be able to hear it in real time. Now people say they've seen a shadow just in the corner here. Is there anybody with me right now? Do you know that you're dead? I'm not really getting any activity here. Let's go over to Jason and Peter and see how they are doing.
Falling down there, sorry.
There we go. Moody. And over here or something like that?
Can you give us a sign or an indication you're here? Are you able to move one of the objects that's in this room? Hear that?
Yeah.
Got that?
Who was that?
17.
It's a dog barking.
17.
Huh.
I was figuring out which one to unplug.
Oh! Oh, hello.
Son?
Hang on. Ha! Listen to this. It's when we were walking back, when I was walking over here. Just stopped just before 4:07.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
Oh.
Here, I'll get you hold that.
Yep.
Just before 4:07.
Unreal, eh?
Sure. That's crazy.
Just before 4:07. Sorry, let's go back a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, I hear something. I can't make it out though. What did you guys hear? Did you
I
make
said
out?
get the breathly get them out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's what I heard too.
Jason and Peter are not kidding. What they caught on recorder was a fantastic find. If you listen carefully, a female voice that either whispers, "Get out," or "Get them out." Or Peter is amazing. But that could just be my auditory hallucinations kicking in.
Get them out.
And it's dragged on, right?
Yeah. Get them out.
Wow.
Sounds like a woman as well.
Is that Mary wanting us to get out?
Yeah, it's a woman. It's a woman's voice. Well, to me it sounds like a woman. I don't know, listen.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah. Get out. Yeah, get out.
It's a woman just drawing it out.
Oh, wow. When exactly was that?
When we were walking back over here.
Oh, was I?
Because you know,
That's just awesome.
There's no spirits down here at the moment, right? Right? I'm not sure what I was hoping to get back. Maybe a...
You're an idiot. Get out of here before I throw you against the wall.
You're no fun. So I decided to make my way back to Jason and Peter. My time here was getting close to the end.
All right, time to go back outside.
Once back inside,
Peter and Jason were eager to share with me their findings. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah.
There was a woman's voice, which coincides with the Mary that we picked up before, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's trippy to hear that. And it's clear, too. As we packed up our equipment, I couldn't stop thinking about the next place I'm heading to. Hey guys, Jason.
Right on, James. Good to work with you again, man.
Had so much fun.
That was a good time.
This has been amazing. So nice working with you again. And you, it was awesome to meet you.
Thank you.
I have to go. I have another place I have to go and investigate. So I will talk to you guys later.
All right.
See you guys.
Travel.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't enjoying myself. I have always loved a good mystery. Jason and his team are amazing to work with, and I look forward to seeing them again soon. But I still have questions that need answers to. Using radio waves and metal rods to communicate with the undead, well, they still doesn't convince me that ghosts exist. But you know what? I think I know who can. So stay tuned. My paranormal adventures, well, they are just beginning.